Why are you doing business with an attorney you don't trust? Why on God's green earth would you do business and pay money to an attorney you don't trust? I understand. Here's the thing. I get it. When I go to the doctors and my nurse wife asks me questions about, did this happen? Did you ask this question? I have no idea. I literally don't. I don't know. Listen, this guy went to med school. What do I know? He asked me this. I responded. I responded truthfully. Let's be clear. But I don't know any questions to ask, and I don't know what half the things are that he's telling me. And like, just tell me good or bad, doc. I get that when a lot of people are dealing with lawyers, it's kind of the same thing. Unfortunately, for my profession, that is very, very common. I try, as well as my partners that I work with, and both Venerable here and in our Fortress Asset Protection, to make sure that we're talking like normal human beings. And listen, yeah, some of the stuff gets in the weeds, so we could, of course, talk above anybody that we want to that's not a lawyer. I get that. There's that aspect of it. But if you have a gut feeling when you're dealing with a lawyer that you just don't trust what they're telling you, get out. Get out now. Run fast. I understand, you feel obligated to deal with someone, especially if you've paid them money, but there's a whole, grievance procedure for that. However, I cannot believe the amount of times I've heard people say, like, I really didn't trust what that person was telling me, but I did it anyways. Just had a Zoom call with a lovely family doing a significant amount of real estate investment, and they had a lawyer friend of one of these individuals that kind of led them down the primrose path. And if I'm being honest, the attorney had no business. Let me be very clear with this. No business, zero business taking on what she was doing. Listen, I get it. I get, lawyers gonna have to make a living like everybody else. But if you're not comfortable and you don't understand what the heck you're doing, stay away from it. If you give the disclosure to the client, like, listen, I'm gonna learn this with you and I'm gonna give you a reduced rate, and chances are you could find someone more experienced, but if you really want to use me, we'll go through this together and I'll give you my honest feedback. That's one thing. That's not what happened here. And they got some very bad advice. And they stayed far too long and paid far, far too much for the service they were provided. Because honestly, we have to go back to square one and recreate everything, because I just have I find zero value in anything that was created before we were involved. That's not always the case. Honestly, a lot of times it may be good enough to get by, it may be good enough to do a little bit of revision, but what they did, we have to start from square one again, and that's the only way I can do it and have a good faith basis to believe they're going to be protected. So if you don't trust your attorney, get a new one and hurry.